Hi, I'm Dr. Molly with Your Goals Physical Therapy, and tonight I wanted to kind of talk about pain and I guess kind of simply what pain is. I also want to talk about when you should go and see a PT or another medical professional. I'd like to talk about some simple home remedies and some things to make it where the pain isn't getting worse, but maybe like resolving on its own. And then when you should actually, let's say all else fails, how do you determine if you need to see somebody and when to see them? Because so many people suffer with pain, right? So they've dealt with their shoulder not moving for months and not knowing why, and all the fear and anxiety that goes along with that. And I, that's actually just kind of sad to me. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a roadmap, because some of this is nuanced, on how to make sure that you're letting something just heal and rest on its own versus just living with an annoyance that you shouldn't have to live with. So first, what is pain? So pain is an alarm system that our body is built with. Now that sounds bad, but if you think about your own life, you have lots of alarms, right? I have an alarm that wakes me up at night, or wakes me up in the morning, hopefully it doesn't wake you up at night. An alarm that wakes me up, right? So that's not really a bad alarm. It's just something that says, hey, you gotta wake up. I have one in my car that tells me that I just didn't shut the door, right? So again, that's it is an alarm. I need to know my door's not shut in my car, but the car's not gonna stop functioning because my door wasn't shut all the way, right? I mean, I could drive down the road like that if I needed to, but that's just not the safest place, right? So, but then you have the fire alarm, right? Where you have to fully escape because something really bad is happening. And that can be anything from you need to see your medical professional at the earliest convenience, or you need to go to the ER, right? And that's kind of where most people are sitting, and they want to know how to determine that. So that kind of brings me to how do you determine that aspect? So most of us have... you've lifted something or you've pushed something, and now all of a sudden you have a sharp, we're going to go with the shoulder today. You have a sharp pain in your shoulder, and your immediate thought is, of course, that you have to have surgery and that your arm's going to fall off because there's this searing pain in your arm. So my suggestion is to try to calm some of that down, right? Let your arm rest. Take the 5 to 10 minutes to let that kind of calm down. Maybe put some ice on it, find a comfortable position. And then if your pain has dramatically dropped, then you're probably doing pretty good to not have to go immediately to the ER. My second thing to really look for is to see if you can move your shoulder. So if you have normal range of motion and that's not making your pain elevate, then it's probably not an emergency, you have to go right now to the ER, right? So if you're not seeing a bulge pop out, if you don't have dramatic bruising everywhere, your arm still looks like it's part of your body, then you're probably okay to ice it and rest it for a day, to call your, either your PT to make an appointment, or to, or go to your primary care later in the week. So that, just that, if it's not just lopping off, right, or falling off immediately. I think when it gets a little nuanced is when, sure, there was nothing traumatic to it, and icing it helps calm it down, resting it calms it down, but then you're a little concerned about moving it because you're afraid that if you move it, you're actually going to end up hurting it worse than what it is right now. And I would say that majority of the time, that's something to test, right? So if you can move your arm and your pain level doesn't go up with every movement, if I can do this or I can raise my arm and the pain is not elevating with that movement, then it's pretty safe to say that it's not going to hurt it to move it. And that's what you want to do. You want to move as normally as possible because you don't want your shoulder problem to then become a neck or a back problem. So in the case where we're talking about the shoulder, you want to move as normally as you can. Take your breaks if you need to, if it's starting to get achy, ice it. And then that might be something that tells you that maybe you need to see a doctor. But if you can make it and you can move normally, you really should, because by holding it and like guarding your arm, that's when people cause other problems to go along with it. That's okay, Aiden. Aiden just threw himself off of the chair, winding around. Sorry about that, guys. So, so that is like a concern, right? So like if you constantly feel like you have to guard your arm, you need to go talk to somebody so that you can have that relax. Just for the peace of mind that something is not dramatically wrong. Because oftentimes it's not. It's something that starts off kind of small and it festers, and then that can make it a bigger deal. And I guess that's the big part of this, is I want people to know, is it is better to go have a conversation with somebody and find out what is actually causing the irritation, and maybe put some ice on it, or to rest it, or what positions to be in to make it more comfortable. So then home remedies. So I've talked about it a little bit. Icing it. So if you have an ice pack or a bag of peas, for your shoulder, there are some positional changes. So learning those would be good. But oftentimes your body will tell you. So you know, holding your arm is more comfortable, then that's what you should do. But finding some positional changes so that you can kind of off-weight the discomfort. But my big thing, ice, resting it, and then moving as normally as possible, because that's really going to be the best way to calm the muscles down. Because if you're guarding it, it's just going to tighten everything up, keep the swelling in there, and make things more agitated or painful. Okay. Now, I've kind of gone over it like randomly through this, but when you should see somebody. So let's say that it really wasn't a traumatic event. It's been slowly getting worse, or slowly, or just not getting better. I would wait a week, maybe 2, but I wouldn't go much longer than that. And the reason is that sometimes it can be something very minor. And if you keep putting off seeing somebody, that can actually make it worse. So it may end up, maybe a very small thing, but when you've compensated for the way that you're moving, or having to adjust everything in your life, you can actually make something bigger out of a relatively small injury. So that would be my big thing. So like immediately go see a PT or a primary care if you have bleeding, bruising, if it doesn't look like your normal shoulder, or if you have traumatic pain when you move that elevates, right? So if you're moving your arm and the pain level is going up, that is not a good sign. You need to go see somebody as quickly as possible. If that pain is not resolving after 1 or 2 weeks, then you need to go see somebody. And again, it's just peace of mind. At least somebody can tell you what it is that is going on. But those are kind of my quick things. I'm going to have a blog post about the same information. I'll put the link for that. It has a little bit more detail about everything I kind of talked about. And I hope everybody's having a great day. Bye.